Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the Chairman of Monmouthshire County Council.
Thank you, everyone. Would you please be seated? Once again, good afternoon, everyone. Deputy Lord Lieutenant, High Sheriff, distinguished guests, fellow councillors and guests, welcome to the annual meeting of Monmouthshire County Council. And the first item on the agenda is apologies for absence. Are there any, please? Councillor Guppy.
Councillor Jez Becker.
Thank you. Sorry? Yes, okay, thank you. Item 2, any declaration of interests? No? The next item on the agenda is the election of a new chairman for the civic year 2017 and 2018. But before I call for nominations, I would like to address the council. Take about half hour, I expect. Deputy Lord Lieutenant, High Sheriff, distinguished guests, members and officers. It is now the end of the first 21 years of this authority. The first chairman, the late Viv Thomas, like myself, also lived in Caldicot and also came from Ebbowvale, which was the hometown of us both. I am proud to follow in his footsteps albeit some years after him. Regarding the past year, following on from being Vice Chairman to Councillor Strong, it has been something of a roller coaster for both Pauline, my consort, and myself. It has been an honour and privilege to represent this authority across its extensive area and beyond. And again, I sincerely thank you, my colleagues, for granting me the opportunity. The county was privileged to roll the Wales National Estate put in the historic town of Abergavenny and on the Castle Meadows, a very pleasant area. Pauline and I visited that estate on 6 days, and every day either Elwood Roberts, who was the managing director of the Eisteddfod organisation, or one of his colleagues congratulated the council on the manner in which they were assisted during the organisation and progress leading up to and through the week. As an authority, we can be justly proud of that achievement, and it indicates how officers diligently worked in the weeks and months prior to ensure its success. For myself, I'm extremely grateful to our Welsh-speaking staff, who caused me to sweat a little bit, I have to say, for their invaluable help in tutoring me in the pronunciation of Welsh for my speech at the opening event in the Monmouthshire Marquee. After that speech, it was the first time that day I felt relaxed. As chairman and consort, we have, like our predecessors, been extremely busy. We've been to London on 3 occasions, that being the Queen's Garden Party at Buckingham Palace, at the Gwent Music Concert at Royal Albert Hall, and the Lord Mayor's Mansion House. And that was for the commemoration of the Great London Fire of some 400 years ago. Believe it or not, that invite came due to the fact that Monmouthshire made a contribution to the rebuilding of that great city following the fire. And of course, Monmouthshire was a county then which is very different from what it is today. There were royal visits by Prince Charles, the Duchess, and in that order, and the Duke of Cambridge, respectively, to Abergavenny, Mamiled and Llanfoyce Primary School. Meeting the royals was wonderful, and they made everyone feel very relaxed and at ease in the manner of their approach. Across Wales, we attended many functions, many, of course, reciprocal between local authorities. But locally, there was the 50th year celebration of the opening of the first Severn Bridge and the celebration of the refurbishment of Chepstow Bridge, which we jointly celebrated with the Gloucestershire County Council. One thing sure, we know how to celebrate, and what a wonderful day that was. We attended fundraising functions organised by other chain gang members across the area, as indeed did they to our own organised fundraising, which of course will be for the benefit of both T. Haven and St. David's Foundation. And I deeply appreciate assistance provided in organising those functions. Only a few more lines. For our officers and staff across the organisation, I must say a very big thank you to all. Whenever I came to County Hall and met officers and staff, they were always very courteous and acknowledged me. I sincerely appreciated their manner at all times. We could not have undertaken attending any function without the excellent organising ability of our PAs. I refer, of course, to Mrs. Linda Greer and Mrs. Julia Boyd. Where would we, as chairman, be without their invaluable organising ability and very often day-to-day contact and advice of both these ladies? We cannot forget either the chauffeur, Steve, who, while out and about, looked after our needs. Steve was invaluable, especially to be in either knowing where the best places were to eat, and of course he knew that I needed to eat at regular intervals. Finally, to the incoming chairman, I wish you sincere best wishes over the course of the next year. Like Pauline and I know you will enjoy the experience. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is to elect the chairman of the county council. Sorry, Councillor Fox.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wonder if you'd indulge me and allow me to address the council, and I'm sure afterward my colleague leaders will want to do that also. Deputy Lord Lieutenant, High Sheriff, distinguished guests, fellow councillors, I would like to briefly reflect on our chairman's year of office. Jim, you and I have been friends for, 18 years or more now, and we've worked together as councillors throughout that time. I think you came here in 99, I was here in 97. I know you served a long time before that as well. And throughout that time, we have worked really well together. So I was especially pleased, as was my group, to be able to support you in taking office of this chairman. Chairman of this council. It's generally been a pleasure as leader to work with you, Jim. It's an important relationship, the leader and the chairman, and I think our year has worked well together, and I thank you for that. You've provided outstanding chairmanship in all you have done. This is certainly the case within the way you have dealt with the business in this chamber through the running of our council meetings. You've been fair and balanced in the way you've worked, and have always facilitated well-managed and productive meetings, and for which I thank you, I think on behalf of all members here. Yeah. I'd like to thank your consort Pauline too. Pauline, many thanks for your hard work in supporting Jim through what's been an absolutely amazing and eventful year. Your efforts have been really appreciated by us all. I'd also like to thank our outgoing Vice Chairman, Councillor Paul Jordan. Thank you to Paul, wherever he is. Up there, of course he's up there. Yeah, I knew he was somewhere here. Paul, certainly thank you for helping out Jim through the year of office as well. And it's certainly been an eventful year, as you alluded to, Jim, with some of the key events you'd mentioned in your address. And I suppose one of the highlights, which was clearly for you and for the rest of us, was the Eisteddfod. What a fantastic celebration of Welsh culture and language. And we were very proud, I think, all of us, that this came to Monmouthshire. We'd helped bring it to Monmouthshire. And I want to thank you for your input each and every day. I thought you were there every day. You seem to be doing something, and a terrific ambassador for the county through that really iconic event. And I thank you for everything you did there. And you've been a great ambassador through all of the events, many events. It's been such a busy year. As you pointed out, there were many other memorable days and some very moving ones as well that you and Pauline attended on behalf, such as the remembrance of the tragic events in Aberfan some 50 years ago. And I do thank you for going and representing the council there at that service. You've been working hard for your charities. De Haven and St David's are dear to us all, and I congratulate you on the funding you have achieved, with over 5,000 being raised so far, with more money still flowing in. Jim, it has been an excellent year, and you have proved to be an excellent chairman. On behalf of the Conservative group, both present and past, can I thank you for all you have done, and can I wish you well for the future?
Thank you very much, Leader. Councillor Petruni.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Following on from the Leader of the Council's, or maybe Leader of the Council, should I say, I would like to add my and the Labour Group's perspective on your chairmanship over the past year. Jim, as I will call you for today only, and his consort Pauline have been fantastic ambassadors of this council. They have performed their role with distinction over the last year. And every time I nominated Councillor Higginson, I think it was 4 years in a row, I knew that would be the case. I knew you would take it seriously. I know you would do your best to attend every event you could. And I knew you continued the historic role that the chairperson of this council, every chairperson of this council, does amazing charity work on behalf of this authority. And I knew you would do that for St David's and Tehaven and raising £5,000 like the leader mentioned. Importantly, I knew you would chair these council meetings, which can get fractious sometimes, with impartiality. And I hope the following chairperson follows the same path. This council should be proud of you and is proud of you, and the Labour Group certainly is. And I thank you for your hard work and for your concert's hard work over the past year.
Yes, thank you very much, Dimitri. Councillor Howarth.
Good afternoon, Chairman, or good evening, Lord Lieutenant, High Sheriff, members of the Council, and a special thanks and warm welcome to all our new members of the Council for your first meeting of the Monmouthshire County Council from the last election. Chief Executive, senior officers, welcome. Jim, Valley lad, I'll call you a Valley lad. You never forget the valleys. Every time we speak, you always remember the valleys. And I think the leader made the observation there about the Aberfan. It's in your blood, and it's in many of us in here, it's in our blood. I'll always remember that. You spoke in council about going to the Aberfan service. You never forgot about that. I note there you was a rugby coach, Jim. I think you've hung your boots up there as reference to coaching and the refereeing. I think I noticed one more refereeing in here today, Councillor Woodhouse, and I remember saying a few words about Councillor Woodhouse about his refereeing. And to be a referee, you need discipline. I think, Jim, you're very disciplined. I remember when I first came to this council in 2004, I was vice chairman of audit, and you were the chairman, and you was actually really kind to me in direction, learning the ropes, just in case you weren't there. I don't think I ever did chair, but it was always the experience to have, let's say, one of the older people there. And I'm sure new members here will be looking at the older ones who've been here for some time for guidance. And I wish people will, and they will, come to the older ones for some guidance to have a chat. Jim, you have been a credit to this council. I note you've been a credit to Caldicott itself. You've been there well over 30 years now, and to spend that much time in a town council, you actually need to be of steel. You are an old steelman, and that always lives you, same as the Valley life as well. I wish you luck. From the independent group, we thank you for your time and your fairness. Thank you very much, Jim.
Thank you very much, Councillor Guppy.
Thank you, Mr Chairman, Vice Chairman, Deputy Lord Lieutenant and High Sheriff, all councillors and officers and distinguished guests. It's an honour for me to speak today about you, Jim, and the support that Pauline has given you through the last year. Just to say, you and I have affiliation with Caldicott Rugby Club. What goes on tour stays on tour, so you're okay, Jim.
Yes, thank God for that.
But I must say, we heard last year, and again we've heard today, that you was a referee. Now, I think when I was a lot younger, I did see you referee, but I said, what goes on tour stays on tour. But I know Nigel Owens would be very proud of you, transforming your refereeing skills into this council chamber. For example, when the debates become very long or very heated, or one of the members decided that they wouldn't sit down or got very frustrated, you were the one that would say, please keep to the agenda, please keep to the matter. And if you didn't do that, then you was politely asked to sit down. Thank you, Jim, because that made the meetings speed up. However, when those meetings become long and again, frustration and difference of opinion was set in this gender, you said, we're calling it, we're having a break, restart again in 10 minutes. Thank God, because I think we all would have had a yellow card. Looking back over the year, we've said a lot about the Eisteddfod. A little bird told me not only you learnt Welsh, but you were seen singing it as well. So well done. And I know that would have been a tremendous week for you, and again, Pauline. Having a look at what you've done over the last year, many memorable moments have come to my mind that I know that you would have relished in being part, representing Monmouthshire County Council. One of them would have been the opening of the Abergavenny digital information screen. This was opened by distinguished guest Becky James, but I hope you wasn't too disappointed that she didn't bring a partner, George North. Watch him on the Lions tour. You've always supported Gwent Music Support, and you've always gone to see their concerts locally and in St David's Hall. But I know your visit to the Royal Albert Hall, where some of the fantastic museums of this county performed, would be one of your wonderful, unforgettable experiences. And also, on a local business and on local turf, you presented the Caldicot Under-13s Junior Rugby Club with a kit that was sponsored by Monmouthshire Housing Association. I know that that would have been a very proud moment for you, supporting the young rugby players from that club, because the success of the junior and mini rugby means the success of the adult rugby for future years and long years. And I also know that you have been very proud of the 2 under-16 players that have recently played for Wales against England. And I know that you will always follow the development of the rugby club from this day and onwards, and maybe we'll have some future stars being represented in the adult team. This leaves me to say, on behalf of the Liberal Democrat group, past members Doug Edwards and Phil Hobson, thank you very much for you and Pauline for your honourable hard work and being ambassadors for Monmouthshire County Council. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you all for those very kind words. I think I had a little bit more hair when I was refereeing and coaching and that, but than what I have now. But thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. So item 7 on my agenda, I will now call for nominations for the office of Chairman of the County Council for the civic year 2017-2018. Councillor Fox.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Deputy Lord Lieutenant, High Sheriff, distinguished guests and fellow councillors, it gives me great pleasure to nominate Councillor Maureen Powell to be the Council's Chairman for the ensuing year. Maureen was elected to this council in May 2008 as member for Abergavenny's Castle Ward. She also has a vast experience within town and community councils, being a past member of Grosmont Community Council, and in 2012 was elected to Abergavenny Town Council, becoming Mayor of the town in 2015. Maureen is also a past chairman of this council, a first, having held office in 2012 But some of us will remember this was quite a difficult year, as we were a new and homeless council, as this building wasn't finished and our meetings were held in the Shire Hall in Monmouth, and it wasn't easy for the chairman, for us as members, operating from a car mainly, very nomadic. Maureen was born in Hay-on-Wye and educated in Hereford. She worked within the farming industry, within a garage, a chainsaw business, and also ran a bed and breakfast concern before retiring from full-time employment in 2002. Saying that, I've never known anybody work so hard in retirement, so I don't think she's really given up full-time work. Maureen is married to John, her consort, and together they have 5 children and 13 grandchildren. Sadly, John can't be with us tonight. He's recovering from an operation. As mentioned, Maureen has extensive political experience, serving on a variety of committees and outside bodies, including the South Wales Fire Authority. She's also a very dedicated school governor. Maureen attends St Mary's Church in Abergavenny on a regular basis, and also keen on swimming, reading and following local and Welsh rugby. I've rarely met such a hard-working person as this lady, and know she will be a fine ambassador for this council once again. And I'm pleased that this time, if elected chairman, Maureen would be able to have a more conventional year in office based here in County Hall rather than the nomadic role she had to endure in 2012. So, Mr Chairman, I hereby move this nomination.
Thank you. Is there a seconder to that nomination, please? Councillor Murphy.
Yes, thank you, Chairman, and it gives me great pleasure to second the nomination.
Are there any further nominations? No? As there are no further nominations, may I please have your votes for Councillor Maureen Powell? All those in favour, please show. That's clearly carried. Thank you very much. And there's no votes against, obviously. Could I now invite County Councillor Maureen Powell to the dais here to read and sign her declaration of acceptance of office?
I, Maureen Powell, having been elected to the office of Chairman of Monmouthshire County Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code for the time being as to the conduct which is expected of members of Monmouthshire County Council and which may be revised from time to time.
Thank you very much. I'm now taking this chain off. Take these chains from my heart, as they say.
Do I have to sign something?
Sign in.
There's nothing in it, I shouldn't worry. Deputy Lord Lieutenant, High Sheriff, distinguished guests, fellow councillors and their guests and officers. Thank you for choosing me to be chairman again. I feel very honoured to have been chosen yet again. But first, I'd like to pay tribute to Councillor Jim Higginson. He's been an exemplary chairman and so fair, and he kept us all in order, whatever our politics. And I don't think anybody could have done a job so well. And I shall have a very difficult chairman to follow to try and keep up with Jim's wonderful way of dealing with people. And I think he was excellent. When I was asked to take the position of chairman again, I thought it might be that I hadn't done such a bad job last time, so they'd let me have another go. And then I thought perhaps it was like our GCSEs, when if you haven't got a very good grade, you're allowed to resit them, and I might get a better grade next time. But joking aside, I feel very honoured and a little humble to be offered this post once again. I will serve the council to the best of my ability, and when travelling around to other authorities, I will be proud to represent Monmouthshire County Council. We are in a time of change and uncertainty, but I'm sure that together we can work to the good of the people of Monmouthshire, and I hope that we all will together. I'd like to welcome the new councillors here. It's wonderful to see so many of them, and some younger ones as well. No disrespect to the older ones, because I'm a bit old myself, but it's lovely to see the people coming in. And I hope in time they will realise that they've fulfilled their ambitions and that they will benefit from the experience of being a councillor, which may stand them in good stead for their future life. Unfortunately, my husband John can't be with me today because he's just out of hospital. But I would like to thank Mrs. Liz Hackett-Payne for standing in his place, and I appreciate her friendship for many years. Thank you. Also, my chaplain is on a sabbatical. Because we only knew last week that I was going to be chairman, it was a bit short notice, but he will be with me in the future. My chosen charities for this year are the Alzheimer's Society and the Wales Air Ambulance. My civic service will be on Sunday, June the 25th at 3 o'clock at St Mary's Priory Church in Abergavenny. And I look forward to seeing many of you there. Thank you once again for having faith in me, and I hope I don't let you down. I will do my best, and I'll do my best to be very fair, as Jim did, as I've had a few digs about it. Thank you very much. I would like now to present Councillor Higginson with his past chairman's badge. There we are. Item. You've got sorted. Oh, sorry, no photograph. Sorry. Item 4 on the agenda. I will now call for nominations for the office of Vice Chairman of the County Councillor for the civic year 2017 to 2018. Councillor Greenland.
Madam Chair, thank you. May I be the first to congratulate you on taking the chair for the second time, and may I wish you a very good year in office. I would like to nominate for the coming year
Councillor Peter Clark. Councillor Clark was originally from Leamington Spa, and he moved to Wales to take up a job as a quantity surveyor, and I think he was working on the emerging Cumbran town centre, so we're talking about 1970-71. He built a house for himself, well, almost for himself, in Cumbran in Crossacheliog, and in 1972 he married Jan, his wife. They then decided that they would like a house with a much larger garden, and they found one in Glenaravan House in Usk. They then decided that they would turn it into a hotel, and of course it is now a very well-known and popular venue within the town of Usk. Peter has been a member of this council, and indeed preceding council, Gwent County Council, well, for many years, in fact, since I was almost a boy, I think. And he is now father of the house, having served longest. In 1995, when Monmouthshire County Council came into being, he became the member for Llangibby Vawr, and he has served as member there ever since. Within this council, he has many interests, but one of them, of course, is planning, and he has served as chairman, as vice chairman of the planning committee for many years. Peter has also, like you, Madam Chair, been chairman before in 2010-11, and that was a very good year as well. So I have great pleasure in nominating Peter for the post of vice chairman of this authority for the coming civic year.
Is the nomination seconded?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have great pleasure in seconding Councillor Peter Clark for the office of Vice Chair for the ensuing year.
Are there any further nominations? Councillor Petruni?
Yes, Chairman, and I'd like to congratulate you and wish you a good year in office. Yes, Chairman, I would like to nominate Councillor Kevin Williams to the position of Vice Chairman. Born and bred in Clydach, and lived there over the years for 26 years, 10 years in Leffley Hill. He's worked for the TUC for 16 years as a development officer. He spent 10 years in the pharmaceutical industry. He's got a degree in business studies from Newport and a PGCE in adult education, which he's made great use of by teaching residents in Monmouthshire business studies and IT for nearly 6-7 years. He's also been, in the past council term, the in-house comic for this council, a position he hopes to retain in this council, I know. In short, he has a wide range of experiences and a strong record and commitment to Monmouthshire and its residents, and I'm with great honour and privilege to nominate him for Vice Chair.
Is it seconded by anyone, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It gives me great pleasure to nominate Kevin. He doesn't need any eulogies. He's Kevin. And if he eventually gets the job, it'll be an exciting council, I can tell you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
As he was first nominated, can I have a show of hands for Councillor Peter Clark?
I made that, Chairman.
And can you raise your hands for Councillor Kevin Williams, please?
Ten for Councillor Williams.
Does that mean I lost?
Good second.
Kevin, you came second. I declare that Councillor Peter Clark will be my Vice Chairman. I now invite Councillor Peter Clark to read and sign his declaration of acceptance of office.
I, Peter Clark, having been elected to the office of Vice Chairman of the Monmouthshire County Council, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code for the time of being as to the conduct which is expected of members of this council and which may be revised from time to time.
I now invite the past chairman's consort, Mrs. Pauline Collier, to present the consort's chain of office to my deputy consort, Mrs. Liz Hackett-Payne, together with a bouquet of flowers. I now invite Mrs. Catherine Jordan to present a pendant to the past chairman's consort, Mrs. Pauline Collier, together with a bouquet of flowers. Incoming Vice Chairman, Councillor Peter Clark, will briefly address the Council and introduce his consort, Mrs. Jan Clark.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, Chairman, Deputy Lord Lieutenant, High Sheriff, distinguished guests and fellow councillors. Can I thank you most sincerely for entrusting me with this role of Vice Chairman of this authority this afternoon. As with Maureen, this is the second time Jan and I have held this office, and I look forward to the responsibilities and the position, possibly with a little less trepidation than the first time 8 years ago. As Vice Chairman, we will support Maureen through the coming year and help and support all of our new members as they settle into their new roles and responsibilities. Thank you all.
The Vice Chairman will present Councillor Paul Jordan with a gift. I now invite Mrs. Catherine Jordan to present the Vice Chairman's consort, Mrs. Jan Clark, with her chain of office and a bouquet of flowers. I now invite Mrs. Pauline Collier to present a gift and a bouquet of flowers to Mrs. Catherine Jordan. With the Council's consent, the remaining items on the agenda will be deferred to the meeting of the County Council to be held on Thursday, the 18th of May 2017. I would now like to invite the Deputy Lord Lieutenant, High Sheriff, distinguished guests, my fellow councillors and guests, and senior officers to join me for refreshments.
Please be upstanding as the Chairman leaves the chamber.